Power up.
Get over here!
Hello, everybody out there on YouTube. We are the middle-aged guys, and we bullshit about nothing. Actually, this time we're going to bullshit about gaming. As angry middle-aged men that we are, I am the Reverend.
The theme here.
Ray Mouse 1.
We just finished up a previous video where we talked about gaming while being middle-aged and what that exactly means to us as adults, handling adult shit, still trying to do shit like we did when we were little kids and play games like that right there. Either we were playing with controllers or we were playing with ourselves. Let's just be honest. You know, the JCPenney catalog and other things. Actually, you know, when I figured out that there was a way to go ahead and get the credits of Hollywood catalogs sent to your house under very discreet circumstances, I was all over that. That being said, gentlemen, we have other thoughts about the state of gaming and our perspective as middle-aged guys. You know, generally speaking, I think my particular position is a little bit different than everybody else's because I have had the peek behind the window, behind the curtain, as far as what happens with developers, what happens with QA, and what happens to these games before they actually end up on store shelves. Likewise, I've also worked retail as a guy behind the counter, sitting there saying, hey, you want this game, go ahead and pick it up. By the way, do you subscribe to our magazine? Are you part of a, you know, do you want to go ahead and pre-order something else that's coming six months down the road? Why the fuck you would want to do that? I don't know, but that was part of my job. You know, so I've got certain other perspectives on it, but I know I don't want to monopolize everybody's time. Where did we leave off as far as the first, the previous video, guys?
Well, I guess, let me start.
Go ahead.
When just about the impact of gaming, just on our generation, when E3 2013 happened, and the bullshit that Microsoft tried to pull, you know, we're at that age to where we have the ability to voice our opinion, voice our anger, and things get changed. Now, on the flip side of that, E3 2015, I think it was, when Shenmue 3 and Final Fantasy 7 was announced, you had grown-ass men in tears because certain games were coming out. And that says a lot, you know, on how much gaming has an impact on middle-aged guys or middle-aged girls as well. It's just when you have men, grown-ass women, crying because Shenmue 3 was announced or Final Fantasy 7 Remake was announced. I mean, people were waiting for Final Fantasy 7 Remake since 1996. Or, I'm sorry, 97. Ever since it was released, you know, people were wanting a remake of it. And Shenmue 1, Shenmue 2, and all the bullshit that happened in between, and now it's finally getting made. You had, again, I emphasize, you had grown-ass men and women crying, reacting. I mean, everybody, I think, has seen the game trailers when they announced Shenmue 3. I mean, you got the guy jumping up and down on the counter, raising hell, and then you got all these other reaction videos that are on YouTube. It just shows just how important, how impactful just a mere mention of a game will have on people.
What about you, Theme? What are your thoughts? Because I could probably go on in length in response to what Ray Mouse said, but I'll give you a chance first before I monopolize everybody's time.
I wish I would have recorded my reaction to Shenmue 3 being announced. Because as soon as that happened, okay, Final Fantasy VII Remake, yeah, that was great and all. But I was never really connected to Final Fantasy. But a couple of announcements later, as soon as I heard that music, and I was on the phone when this happened, and I screamed the top of my lungs, Shenmue 3, even before the words came up. I knew instantly just by the music. I was fumbling with my phone. I sent texts to you guys.
I received it, yeah.
And I was like, fuck, dude. I couldn't believe that. And I was like, damn, did that just happen? Is this fucking real? Are they going to take this away? Is it April Fool's or fuck? There are a lot of games that we will wish that will come back. Just because of past experiences with those games, and then we want them to come back or have sequels for them. Gaming has had that type of impact to a lot of people. There were men and women that played these games and was like, fuck. And when they came, and these sequels and remakes actually surfaced again. Okay, that's all right. Something simple like Pac-Man Championship Edition. It took the old Pac-Man and they revamped it into something that's absolutely great. And I still have to. Is the second one even out yet?
Not yet. I think it's supposed to be released soon, though.
But I want to get my hands on that as soon as that shit comes out. But just think about that. Pac-Man came out in what, 1980?
Yeah.
79, I think.
Yeah, 79, I believe, yeah.
And for that to still hold a place in our hearts, to make sure, to have it old school the way they made it, but they made it modern. They don't have them with legs, walking through towns. No, that didn't work. You have to keep this motherfucker as the fucking pizza that has a slice away from it, or a cheese ball that has a slice away from it, eating fucking blue ghosts when you turn them blue.
Yep.
Actually, I want to correct myself. It came out in North America October 26, 1980.
Yep.
Yeah, 80.
As far as arcades did.
Correct.
On the Atari 2600, it came out in 82. So,
Correct.
Oh, that's 2600. Oh, no. Oh, God, no.
I mean,
Octagon pack.
when you could wear a
Like two
T-shirt.
Christmas trees combined.
Look, when you could wear a T-shirt out into a mall and you got people shaking your hand saying nice shirt, that just tells you the impact that video games have had.
Speaking of the impact that video games had, I was just about to mention what you guys are wearing. For one, Gray Mouse, back in the day. And the Reverend, Mortal Kombat. That game has a specific impact on the gaming industry as a whole.
Well, ERSB.
well, I think a lot of people don't realize, especially for the folks who've been gamers since the dawn of the industry, rising up and crashing and then rising up again as it has, in the particular position that we're at, because I've spent 4 decades on this earth, and generally speaking, there isn't a lot of things that I've paid attention to as much as I have video games, aside from, like I said before, titties or pussy. All right. The thing with our particular perspective and everything else that folks may not consider is that a lot of the stuff that's going on right now, we were there when video games first started showing up on shelves. We were there when people, really wanted to go ahead and get video games for their kids. As young adults, we started buying them for ourselves. We were there at the very first efforts that were made on a government fucking level to go ahead and go ahead and fucking legislate things over this and regulate fucking video games and require, like the Gray Mouse had said, the ESRB ratings, stuff like that. And even coming to the point where were people in government, Joseph Lieberman, and spearheaded with Hillary Rodham Clinton, and fucking along with what's his name, who says he created the fucking internet all the way back in the 70s.
Bob Dole?
What's up?
Isn't it Bob Dole?
No, Gore.
Al Gore. Yeah.
Al Gore and his fucking wife, went ahead and decided to put the mature lyrics fucking staple on CDs and shit. All these people, all these adults, people who are our age back 20 fucking 30 years ago, okay, who sat there and blamed a lot of this shit like they do now on the ill of fucking video games and shit like that. There's a reason why we become fucking passionate and we become incensed at this shit. The reason why is that, look, when it comes to, going out of your way, and, okay, I fucking hate this. I'm going to say this right now, and I'm going to apologize beforehand because I was talking to the theme and Graham and us offline about derailing things and turning this into a fucking political rant or some shit like that. But the one thing that fucking kills me, absolutely slays my sense of intellect and fucking honesty and fucking ethics and shit like that, is that, okay, for the longest fucking time, the ills of youth, the ills of society have always been blamed onto some sort of fucking entertainment media. All right?
Yeah.
Before the fucking invention of the phonograph, it was fucking books. All right? The people sit there and say, "Oh yeah, the reason why peasants weren't allowed to fucking learn how to read was because the church didn't want them to go ahead and be educated." No, politically speaking, it was because the folks in charge, merchants and fucking royalty, didn't want people educated, so they weren't allowed to read. And then when books became a commonly published thing, people blamed books for all the ill wills of fucking society. Fast forward a little bit. The phonograph is fucking invented. People started blaming fucking music for fucking for the ill wills of society and the reason why things were going wrong. This is shit that was happening all the way back even before the turn of the 20th fucking century. Okay, right. Now and then movies got big. People started blaming fucking movies. Okay, comic books got big. People were fucking blaming fucking comic books. TV, they were blaming fucking TV. Oh, why is Johnny going out of his way and fucking riding his bike in the middle of the street? Because he saw it in fucking TV. Fucking Beaver Clivage was going ahead and doing that alongside the road. He thought it was fucking fun, so he went ahead and imitated him. All right, fast forward to current fucking day. Actually, even before current fucking day, they went ahead and they fucking blamed video games during the 80s and 90s for all this ill will and stupid fucking shit that's happening in society with young people. They continue to do that today. We saw that from the very fucking beginning when the industry was first fucking established, when it fucking crashed, came back, took over the fucking mainstream entertainment media that was out there, surpassed fucking movies in Hollywood. Look, Hollywood last year took in around, I believe, 12 or 13 fucking billion, okay, with all the big fucking hits that they had last year, and it was a record-setting fucking year for 2015. You know how much fucking video games took in? 23 fucking billion, almost twice as much as fucking Hollywood did. All right, so you think that is a fucking coincidence that people got out of their way to sit there and say, "Oh, video games are to blame"? Well, it's right there. It's here. Everybody has one of these fucking things. It's not just something that little Johnny and little Susie fucking get from their parents anymore. Their parents grew fucking up. Little Johnny, little Susie fucking grew up. They have kids. They have their own careers. They own fucking houses, okay? They fucking still play video games. And that's the reason why it's part of fucking pop culture today. You're going to sit there and fucking tell me that murder, hate, fucking bigotry, fucking sexism, shit that's as old as fucking time and humanity itself is all thanks to fucking video games? Fuck you, all right? How fucking intellectually dishonest do you have to fucking be to sit there and pawn it off to something that as a whole has only been around for less than 1% of fucking humanity existence on fucking Earth? Really?
That's the part I don't understand the most. It's like, here, you're telling me that this is the root of all the fucking problems
in modern society.
In modern society, it's laughable. But we have to embrace not only the comedy, but the garbage that surrounds it. Because, as you said, you just named names, and these people still exist to this day, and they still want to create legislation against video games.
Let me say this right now, okay? For the longest fucking time, the people that were saying that were against video games were all these right-wing fucking conventional nut jobs, right? Joseph Lieberman, Democrat. Hillary Clinton, Democrat. Al Gore, Democrat. Tipper Gore, fucking Democrat, all right? The people who are after this bullshit for the last 20 fucking years have all been people who resided from fucking red states. And you know what? I'm going to leave that there for people who fucking watch this video to go ahead and think about. And I don't want to go ahead and expound on that because that's really kind of contrary to the purpose of this particular video. All right? Because every time I fucking think about it, I think it makes more sense to stab myself repeatedly in the fucking eye with this pen and to say that that's going to better my life more than fucking, going over that shit because it's just fucking insane.
What really kills me is the fact that it has been, there's stats out there. There's people saying, oh, video games create, anger, creates, murderers and sexist and misogynist people, right? But when you're looking at reality and you actually look at real statistics and everything, the crime rate has gone down. And I can say this with utmost confidence that 99.9999999% of the people that play video games and play these quote-unquote violent video games, Call of Duty, Halos, whatever your cup of tea is, don't go out and murder somebody just because you could do that in a video game. All those people know that you're in a fantasy. It's a fantasy world. It's make believe, and it's not real.
The craziest thing about that is people try to put sports in that same type of category. Like it causes violence. Competition is a bad thing. It's only teaching children or whatever just to win, and that's it. And it's like, wait a second, no.
Why the fuck don't you want to go ahead and teach children how to fucking win?
Exactly. Now, all right, back to the subject at hand, video game. Gaming is a part of culture now. You can't escape that.
It has been for the last 3 decades.
Yeah.
But now it's more integrated than ever.
It's at the forefront of even the folks who deny its position in pop culture. It's at the forefront of it.
Yes, it is.
I mean, everybody knows who Pac-Man is. Everybody knows who Mario is.
Well, not even just that. Even if you see a commercial nowadays and about a video game, you grow to appreciate it. You're just not, oh no, another video game commercial unless you're a fanboy and you hate Microsoft or Sony and something like that. But you would still appreciate the fact that it's fucking gaming. Now, damn it. Being grown up, being middle-aged, I wish I had more time to play all the shit that I want to. It's funny because I have a PlayStation 4 now. Half of the games I haven't even fucking touched because of fucking life gets in the way. And oh, okay, maybe I'm look. Maybe when I'm on vacation, I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna. All right, I need to play this and play this and play this and enjoy the shit that I got. And it's not like.
Let me interject real quick. Let me ask a question. Has it became, as a middle-aged guy, has it become more of a collection than a playing hobby with video games? Like, no. Let's be honest. And I'm talking about you buy. I'm not saying to buy it, just put it on the shelf. But I'm guilty of buying it. I'll get to it one day. And it goes on the shelf and it sits there for 3, 4, 5, 10 years. That's what I'm saying. So the question that I have is, it actually, you buy it with intent to play it, but real life gets in the way, and then it becomes more of a collection on your shelf rather than a game that you play.
I could answer honestly right now. I'm guilty of a little bit of both. All right. There are a lot of things on my eBay watch list of shit that I'm just looking at where I'm like, oh, I heard about this that I want to go ahead and get a hold of. And then there's a lot of things that I have there where it's like, I would have to say over 98% of the things that I actually have, I do plan on playing. Okay. Up until a few years ago, I could honestly go out of my way and say that 90% of the games that I have actually played. Now, whether or not that's actually been more than 15, 20 minutes at a time for what I have on my shelf is a different story altogether. But, yeah, I do find myself more and more, and I hate to admit this, that there are a lot of games that I get a hold of that are still in the cellophane.
Yep.
Or they're sitting there on the shelf that, you know, I haven't gone out of my way to get a hold of or actually play or stick into my systems. But generally speaking, as far as, you know, going out of my way and grabbing games, people are like, oh yeah, you're a collector. I'm like, no, everything I get a hold of, I plan on playing. It doesn't matter if it's a $5 title or a $60 title. Everything I get a hold of, I plan on playing at one point in time. Well, now, whether or not life allows for that, completely different subject.
I mean, I think I can speak for everybody here. We buy the game with intent to play it, not just to put it on the shelf and look at it. But, you know, like I said, I'm sitting here looking at my 360 games. I got like over about 300, 400 360 games sitting here that at one point in time, I bought it because I wanted to play it. But, you know, I have so many games that there's no way I could play every game and beat every game in my lifetime. It's just impossible. That's how many games I have.
I can debate that. I think even with the number of games that I have, if I were to sit there, if something happens, I win the lottery like the next day over, and I don't have to work for the rest of my fucking life. Okay, I'm pretty sure that I have enough titles to go out of my way and play the rest of my games that I actually own.
I would.
Now, generally speaking, does that happen now because I'm not a lottery winner? No, fuck no, it doesn't happen at all. It doesn't fucking happen at all. All right. But I'm honest enough to admit that I'm guilty of getting a hold of certain titles because I have other titles in the same series. Like, I have all of the Final Fantasy 13 fucking games. Okay.
I do too.
Now, did I pay full price for any of them? No. But I have all of them. Simply for the fact that I've got the other Final Fantasy games. And there's a particular part of me that completionist part of me that drives me to do that. In fact, both Theme and Grey Mouse can go ahead and attest to this fact. Even if I don't need a strategy guide to a fucking game, if there's a strategy guide out there for a game, I will try to have it.
I mean, I'm guilty too. I have every Final Fantasy up until this. Well, I had 11 and I had 14.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to my copies, but I've had all. Those are the PC versions, the MMO versions. But I've had all the Final Fantasies, and I had all the Suikodens, had all the Marios. You know,
I guess I'm a bit different because every game that I've ever gotten, I played and or beaten. Except the games that keep going and going and going and going, and that you can't beat them. And this is all the games for all the systems that I have, from the Atari to the portables like Game Boy and Game Gear. And yeah, the Game Gear, I had to fucking plug that shit in my wall in order to fucking play and beat certain games. And the Genesis, the Super Nintendo, and even my Neo Geo CD. You know, I've gotten games for them. I've played them. I've beaten them. So, I mean, yeah, I got a wrestling belt collection that I just have to, you know, and shit like that. But that's as far as my collection goes. As far as gaming, I get them and I play these games. Every game that I've ever bought, I played and I spent time with and I've beaten. And it's like, that's what I get them for. That's the experience I have now. Now the games that I have that I've beaten, yes, they sit on the shelf now, but I can go back and play them whenever I want. They sit on the shelf because they're mine. Why the fuck should I get rid of them? I'm not gonna fucking do that. I don't care what circumstances may come by. I will do everything in my power to keep everything that I spent my hard-earned money on.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people have sat there and said, oh, you're a collector. I'm like, no, I just don't get rid of the shit I've paid money for.
Right.
Because the truth of the matter is that, like I've said in previous videos, you know, my parents didn't buy me anything, you know, other than the Atari 2600, which my dad soundly went ahead and bashed into the ground when we were fucking off. I'm not going to sit there and hate him for that because I understand the circumstances. And as an adult, I understand the point that he was trying to get across. But, you know, when it came to everything as far as what I own, as far as video games and everything else, I bought this with my money. Okay, this is a reflection of my time and efforts. You know, and yeah, sure, you know, I didn't go out of my way. I'm not a star athlete, right? That isn't to say that I'm, you know, it may sound vain, but I think I'd hold my own in a fight, you know. But, you know, that's another subject altogether. But the truth of the matter is that, you know, like I said, with every geek, it doesn't matter if it's sports, it doesn't matter if it's woodwork, it doesn't matter if it's books, it doesn't matter if it's movies. Every geek, the one earmark of every geek is that they do not stop loving what they liked as a kid when they become an adult. And as it is with gamers, fuck, this is shit that I, you know, some of my earliest fucking memories, all right, revolve around, oh shit, you know, the bars are going back and forth and this square is bouncing back and forth and their score is going up. I'm hearing boop, doop, boop, doop, doop, eh. Fuck, I want to do that. And our perspective is as somebody who's seen these fucking 2-bit fucking graphics and this horrible square thing that was supposed to represent a fucking ball bouncing back and forth across the screen to the type of shit that we have now. You know, I mean, there's a lot of shit that we dealt with because we didn't have any fucking choice. A lot of games that we dealt with and we passed were difficult because, let's just be honest, they were badly designed games and they're fucking broken.
No.
But we still dealt with it. Okay? And
some games weren't broken, but I get your point.
Yeah, and you know, if it sounds like we're ratchety because we're criticize certain things, because the reason why it's that way is, guess what? We saw the situation of the fucking industry when it wasn't at that point.
I think it's hilarious, especially the new millennials. If, in other words, anybody who was born in the 2000s, that that say, oh, look at the graphics, look at the graphics, look at the graphics, look at the graphics. And then we, just like you mentioned a few minutes ago, we were in the age where it was 2 sticks and a square ball.
Yep.
And we were looking at digital, you know, the score. And it was like, beep, beep, you know, to virtual reality to where you could actually get completely immersed into a 3D environment and pretty much do whatever you want to do.
Can you imagine a virtual reality Pong?
No.
No.
I can.
I don't wanna.
It's fucking silly, but something's out there that's going to come like it.
I don't wanna, because
Let me ask you this one last question. I know we're running out of time. Back in the day, as a child, could you imagine what video games in the industry would look like today if you were to go back and be a little, you know, be that child and then imagine how much
that question is a little difficult because we kept seeing advancing. I remember the 90s.
Go ahead and give your first realistic reference, because I have a realistic reference in hand. Go ahead.
Because, okay, the 90s, everybody thought that the 90s were the pinnacle compared to Pong, compared to the 80s, compared to 8-bit. Everybody's like, oh my God, we have 32 and 64-bit, and now, yeah, the 3D, and yeah, this is it, and virtual reality is next.
Well, people were thinking that, oh, you got 8-bit, well, 16 is bigger than 8. Oh, 32 is twice as big as 16. Oh, 64, that's twice as 32. And we're like, yeah, bigger is better. And then we realized when Castlevania 64 came out and Zelda CDI, which I still think that don't exist, come out.
My perspective, quite honestly, do you guys remember a movie called The Last Starfighter?
Oh my
Yeah.
God. Oh my God.
Yes.
That movie, oh yeah.
For the longest time, I thought that was going to be the pinnacle of the fucking industry. Being able to sit there and sit in something. Actually, you know what? This is completely possible now. A virtual reality perspective of sitting in the Death Blossom. Sounds like the shit to me.
Oh.
But it is all. No, it's not a horrible movie, but looking at it, it's like, oh my fucking God.
Well,
people thought this is where video games are going to head.
Well, remember, again, look at what they tried to do with the 90s. We're putting things on you, and so you can feel vibrations and virtual reality.
To add to that, the theme, when he went to Japan, when I was over there, I took him out to a arcade. And there was one arcade which actually get into, and it had screens all over. It was just you were in virtual reality screen, literally. And you were flying this thing, and as you were flying, you felt the vibrations. And so it's already done in Japan already. It's just stuff hasn't came out over here.
You know, and it was done before, actually, at a mall. There used to be BattleTech, modules, pods that you could go ahead and go into. But, you know, the industry has come a long way since then. And a lot of us here in this particular video have a particular perspective where we can sit there and actually trace one-to-one the generations as they pass by. And that's something that, you know, whether or not you're somebody our age, somebody older, or somebody younger, that's something that maybe you got to take a second to listen to, because that's a realistic perspective on the industry as a whole, especially over the last 30, 40 years. Yes, that long. All right.
And I think each generation has a game that defined it.
Yeah. And all of us have that memory. With that in mind, we're running short. We're going to go ahead and cut this video short right here. We are the three middle-aged guys. Like I say at the end of every video, hit like, hit subscribe, leave us a comment below. I am the Reverend.
The theme here.
Gray Mouse 1.
Once again, for the benefits of common sense, logic, and gaming. Credits.
And no, we're not just old farts waxing nostalgic about this shit. this is really shit that, you know what? Whether or not you like it or not, it's going to come up, and you're going to be thinking the same way too.
Absolutely. Share your experiences below. We would love to hear it.